While the Matric results improve each year nationally, thousands of matriculants who obtain bachelor's passes simply aren't able to find space at universities. The severity of the problem can be seen through the example of Stellenbosch University. Over 90,000 people applied in 2024, but the university could only offer 6,000 places. The same problem can be seen at institutions all across the country. So how do we tackle the problem in the short and long term? I am joined now by Boston City Campus CEO Ari Katz to help us answer some of these questions. So Ari, the 2024 Matric results were quite impressive, but there's a gap between a number of qualifying students and university spaces. How can we bridge this gap and provide access to higher education for all deserving students? Good to have you.
Good evening, and thanks for giving me the opportunity. So I think let's just roll one step back and just consider why there's such a strong desire for higher and further education in South Africa. And I think this stems from the fact that there's this huge unemployment problem in South Africa, where we know that over 35% of people who have a matric are still unemployed, whereas graduates, less than 10% are unemployed. So whilst even that number is not good enough, clearly we see that education has a huge impact on gainful employment, and hence the strong desire by all the matriculants to actually try and further their education. And the issue of access to institutions, I think it's really important for the public to realize that in South Africa, we have a unitary accreditation system. And what that means is that both public and private higher education institutions are accredited by the same body, being the Council for Higher Education. And therefore, besides the publics, there are a lot of opportunities for students to study at private higher education institutions, which, as I've said, have the same accreditation through the Council for Higher Education as the publics have. And hence, the critical shortage, unless in fact in faculties such as medicine, engineering, but by and large, there are still places available in the privates, and it's not too late for those students to actually still register for the 2025 academic year.
Ari, as university spaces become scarce, how can institutions just like Boston City Campus then help provide alternative pathways, particularly in business, tech, and also healthcare as well? I do believe that your institution covers this.
So I think that, as I said before, it's important to check out whether the institution is in fact accredited by the CHE and registered on the DHET. And one can do that by going to the DHET website to ensure that the institution that you're choosing is in fact accredited. That's number one. Number two, students might also want international accreditation. And I'm proud to mention that Boston is also accredited both in the US and the UK. So that gives a further level of not only accreditation, but comfort to students regarding standards, etc. But I think another factor that's really important for students to bear in mind is that we're blessed in 2025 to live in an age where there are multiple options available to students in terms of modes of learning. So, for example, when I went to university, it was really about only sitting in a class and attending full-time lectures. Whereas today, whilst that option still obviously exists, there are other opportunities as well, such as online learning and mixes between online and lectures, part-time, full-time, etc. So there are many opportunities, not only in terms of institutions, both public and private, but there are also many opportunities in terms of the mode of learning that is available to students.
So the class of 2024 faced COVID-related challenges, for instance. How do you think the shift to online learning then impacted students' preparedness for matric exams, but also their higher education?
So I think in terms of online learning, and particularly AI, if maybe I can just touch on the AI aspect as well. So let's first deal with online. Online is a big term, and we need to try and focus in what we mean by online. So when we at Boston talk about online, we're not talking about simply Zoom or team lectures, but we're talking about a whole choreography of online, made up of online lectures, pre-recorded lectures, e-libraries, online textbooks, e-examinations, etc., all of which are supported extensively by tutors on the one hand and by remote support centers throughout the country. We have 47 support centers throughout the country. So online does not necessarily mean that you're on your own. Online can be a multiplicity of factors, all of which could lend to additional support. And that leads me to the topic of AI. So everybody's talking about AI replacing our jobs, and we don't believe that. We think AI, in fact, has a lot of opportunity, both in terms of pedagogy, in other words, designing the curriculum, etc., where we're able to incorporate AI into our curriculum so that we achieve personalized learning. And when you spoke about gaps in knowledge, personalized learning is an opportunity to actually close those gaps. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, we've also had Boston included AI into every single course that we offer. And the reason that we've done that is so that our students are familiar with AI and they learn how to use AI in whatever profession they're actually entering. So whether you're entering the career of law or accounting or business, whatever it may be, you're actually going to learn how to use AI or how to leverage AI to ensure that you're more efficient and effective and that you're able to use AI to your advantage in gaining employment in the job market.
But speaking about tech and AI, how can technology then help align the Department of Basic Education and the Department of Higher Education to then ensure smoother transitions for matrics?
So as I said previously, I think the opportunity for AI lies in building AI into the curriculum so that we create personalized learning where we understand exactly what the gaps are for each individual learner and use the AI to actually teach learners and bridge the gaps in their knowledge, which is probably not always possible in a classroom environment.
Ari, thank you so much for your time, also sharing with us a very good perspective regarding what they've noted, giving us insights on the challenges facing South Africa's education system, but also looking at the innovative solutions needed to indeed address some of these challenges as well.